to Beacon Hills, the podcast all about Teen Wolf. I am your co-host, Dawn.
And I'm Lilith.
Today we are talking about episode 406, Orphaned. Interesting choice, and I have to say that I think Teen Wolf is definitely getting better. It's back in its groove again, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, that makes one of us. I don't know, this season's just been off for me, but this was one of the better episodes of the season. It's not going to be my favorite. I struggled through the rewatch again, so...
I have only rewatched this once, and I did it at about 3 o'clock in the morning. I might be a little wonky on this one. Well, I would say that our ratings are about the same as it's been the whole way through. We are back to a 0.7 like we were last week. We had 1.565 million in viewers, which is slightly down from last week, but it's pretty much where we've been throughout the entire season. It's what it is, and it's still one of MTV's best shows, so we don't have any problems there. We did get our season 5 renewal officially. It's going to be 20 episodes long.
Well, of course, this episode was written by Jeff Davis, so that naturally means that Russell McCauley is directing. I like this team up. They work very well together. You know, he's also an executive producer. They kind of vibe off of each other, and they share the same vision, so that's always nice. And it was very evident in the script that they both kind of knew what each other was going for, so it was cohesive for the most part.
I would agree. And lots of continuity to old things.
Yes, surprisingly.
So I was like, whoa, this is like Flo flew in.
She came for a visit for season 4, finally.
Yes.
We start off with a flashback. And let me just say that I might hate Kate, but I don't hate Kate's choices in cars. I'll just throw that out there.
I might hate Kate, but Kate is the coolest looking weird creature on this show. Period.
So we see her kind of examining, questioning and executing the mercenaries that have been sent after her. We discover she has a mixtape. She wants to know where it comes from. And apparently the orphans that we dealt with last week, well, they got a mixtape too. Don't know how they played it, seeing as how they're supposed to.
No kidding.
But we'll get to that. We go back to present day in the aftermath of finding out that Violet and Garrett are the killers, and Beacon Hill's Finest is on the case, and Coach is disappointed to lose an excellent player.
Coach has lost like all of his players. I would seriously consider lacrosse team as way to get yourself murdered at this point.
Definitely. We go to our local veterinary clinic. Deaton and Styles and Derek are helping Brett by releasing the poisonous wolfsbane vapor, apparently, from his chest. And after they do that, they realize that he belongs to a pack run by Satomi, of all people. Thought she was dead.
Me too.
So that was my shock of the night for sure. And we learned that, DeMarco and Carrie and Brett are all members of her pack. We get a little Malia and Derek. Didn't see that coming. Well, I did because of the little synopsis, but I thought it would be different, and I liked it. So Garrett kidnaps Liam and doesn't finish him off, so no brownie points for Garrett.
No kidding.
He tries to, blackmail Scott into rescuing Violet in exchange for Liam. That doesn't go well.
Because it's a Teen Wolf teen plan.
Exactly. I was just like, this is not going to end well. Scott gets money, because money problems rears its ugly head for the millionth time this season.
Mm-hmm. Hard to miss that anvil falling.
Oh, yeah. So Styles and Lydia are on the case, and they actually do crack the third cipher, but there was an unfortunate mishap with Meredith, and she will be missed.
Yep.
But hey, at least we got the third cipher, and that makes the name makes me sad, and we'll get into that. I know they won't go through with it, but it still makes me sad.
Right.
So the orphans are dead, so yay.
Woohoo! Kill them off one by one. You only have about 32 blondes to go.
I literally said that. I was like, one blonde down, 37 to go.
All right, let's start by talking about our favorite things. I'll go first.
Knock yourself out, kiddo.
I have a positive about Douche Dad this time. Ho, ho, ho. first time ever. I like how Douche Dad calls Sheriff Beacon Hill's finest. I think they're finally at the point where they've been working together now. It feels like he respects Sheriff now. I really like the idea of them not being antagonistic towards each other.
I guess I'll just talk about something that I was kind of glad for. We got a limited amount of Liam this episode, but I really did like, and that's always a good thing for me personally, but I really like the end scene with Scott rescuing Liam, and he like cradles him, and he's like, "Pack, Dad," and I just was like, "Aw, all the feels."
You and almost everybody on the internet except me said that.
But notice that it's at the bottom of my list. It was obligatory, okay? As a Scott fan, it's obligatory.
Everybody loved that one. I just think it means Scott's getting too attached to Liam and he's never going to go away.
If they work on Liam, I don't mind. But the way that he was first presented, it was annoying as all get out.
I just don't need any more characters. We've got plenty of characters.
Wait till the end of the season, Dawn. We might not.
It's true. I'm happy to kill them off. Kill them all off. Derek explains the wacky werewolf senses. I like it. I'm not usually one for retcon, but I am happy to hear that Satomi's group can mask their scent because it takes care of 1,000 questions that I've had since this season starts. The idea that Scott could not smell tall prep blonde just bugged me to no end, and now we have an answer for that.
It is a retcon, though, so I don't like it because it was only, well, when Deucalion and his pack did it, it was because alphas could do it and not anybody else. Or maybe born werewolves, too, but now they're all bitten, and it was just all bad for me personally on that one. I want to talk about Douche Dad as well. I kind of like that he apologizes for not being at the game. And Scott's like, it's just a preseason scrimmage. And, we finally get that answer. Yeah, Melissa did ask him so she could pick up double shifts. But hey, how about you, move in, sleep on the couch, and help out with the bills, Agent McCall?
No kidding.
That is the douchiest thing. Yeah, I'll help and fix the roof, but I won't chip in on bills. So while I do have a positive for Scott's dad trying to give it the good college try, I do have the negative of it because it's just obligatory because he's Douche Dad.
Peter punches out tall prep blonde. Yay for you. I'm like, get this guy out of my screen. Just get him off. I don't care who he is.
My next one would be the Derek and Malia team up, and we haven't seen it. And I just liked it. It just kind of resonated with me. Even though they weren't really doing much but walking around in the woods, it just kind of resonated. And I like characters that don't necessarily need to say words to each other all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I thought that was a high point, too. That's going to be much higher on my list. No, I thought that the two of them working together was great. Yeah, I thought those two together were very awesome. It's going to be one of my highlights of this whole episode.
Fun fact, Shelley's actually older than Tyler H.
That's just wrong. All right. And this is the other shock. Kate makes my list twice on the positive side.
Wow.
3 times if you go through all the stuff I numbered. Number 9, Kate saves Argent from the Berserkers. Aw, she does still care. Who knew Crazy could care? I just thought that was great. I thought that it helped develop Kate's character a little bit. Plus, it shows that she really is in charge of the Berserkers, so gotta give her some kudos for her power there.
I absolutely loved all the looks Violet gave Scott. It made me chuckle every single time. She was just so smug. I'm like, oh, girl, you are so destined to die in this episode.
Yeah.
She was just so confident. She's like, Parrish? Jordan Parrish? she just thought she was on top of it, and she wasn't. And I just loved it. She had no clue.
Yeah, I thought she was funny, too. Number 8 is also Kate for me. Kate and Peter Alliance. I like it. Those two are fabulous apart as far as being evil goes. I hate Kate still, but, putting them together, I can't wait to see who turns on the other first, because somebody's going to.
Peter.
I'm guessing Peter, too.
Yes. That was in my unnumbered section as well, because we'll have to see how this all turns out.
Yeah, I think it's the most interesting part of the whole episode.
Okay. I absolutely loved the Lydia, Styles, and Parrish team up.
Mm-hmm. That's number 2 on my list, too. I think that is just fantastic. It's on the list along with Derek and Malia because I just think that the pairings that they have made, and Scott and Argent also, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was on my list as well.
Yeah, the pairings, unusual pairings is number 2 for me. I really like when they put together people who don't get a lot of screen time together or separately, to be totally honest. And so I'm really, really liking the way that they are meshing things up a bit this season compared to maybe some of the other seasons before. It's just very effective, and we get to see different sides of the characters. Because like with Derek and Malia, we get to see him mentoring someone. And quite frankly, I think that he probably will do a better job of mentoring Malia, except that, his werewolf powers are wonky. I love Styles and Parrish together and Lydia there too. I just think that it makes things more fun. And Scott and Argent, I just, when Argent was saying Scott's name, I was like, yes, he's not the benefactor. No benefactor would be that concerned over him. Number 7 on my list, the Berserkers kill Garrett.
My next one would be No Kira. Oh my god, I loved it. That's awful to say, but I needed a break from Kira. She really wasn't serving a purpose at this point, so I'm glad they gave her a day off.
I'm glad they gave her a valid reason for being gone.
I didn't care about that.
Number 6 for me, the Great Parrish quote. Okay, that's kind of terrifying. What's the number? Lydia, that's how much you're worth. Parrish, I'm worth $5? Seriously, buddy, I would have at least thought I was worth $5,000. Nobody's going to kill you for $5.
Poor Parrish has got low self-esteem, apparently.
Yes, he does. And Styles, $5 million. Parrish, I only make $40,000 a year. Maybe I should kill myself. I don't get it. Why am I on this list? We want to know too, buddy.
That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, exactly. I like this quote. I thought this quote was fun. And then Meredith goes and supposedly, but probably didn't, kill herself. So later on, this becomes more even like, whoa, we have a theme here? What is up with it? I've been pondering that quote for a while now.
Definitely. Glad you brought that up. My next one, I'll see you one quote and raise you another. Styles to Parrish. I like you. I like you a lot. I think we're going to keep you. Little meta for the fandom, I think, definitely.
Oh, yeah. You speak for us, Styles. We like him. We also want him not to be evil. Number 5, Malia is the smartest person there. I don't know why it took them so long to get somebody to say, hey, maybe we should just leave Beacon Hills. That is the best team plan of them all. So, I like how Malia, yep. I like that Malia wants to run. She really is the voice of common sense these days.
My next one would be the mixtape, because it's talking about the Hale family and how they integrated into the community, but really kind of stayed apart from it. It reminded me of Batman, okay? Like Thomas and Martha, because, everybody likes to say occasionally, Derek reminds them of, Batman. Well, Batman's parents were, philanthropists, and it seems like the Hales were as well.
I agree. I think it's kind of funny that everybody made Liam Batman this time. But
oh, yeah. Why do we fall? To get back up. Yes, I could totally see. Which is ironic because he played a young Clark Kent, which is Superman's alter ego.
Even I know who Clark Kent is.
Okay. I know. You watch one season of Smallville. I know.
Number 4 on my list is yet another quote. Malia, maybe we need to try something different. Maybe we need to think like Styles. Derek, think like a hyperactive spaz. Malia, like a detective. First off, I like that Styles is getting some kudos for his brains, because he definitely has them. But I really like how we always see Styles insulting Derek, but in this one, Derek gets to get his own snappy comeback about Styles. I liked it.
Complete with hashtag.
Yes. Yes. Think like Styles.
Definitely the best one of the night.
Yes. I had a great tweet. Somebody said, hashtag think like Styles? No, I'd rather think about Styles.
I like that Peter this whole episode, he's kind of lurking on the fringes of the episode. He's kind of taking it in, and Derek's kind of getting suspicious. For good reason, it turns out at the end of this episode. But yeah, we didn't really see a lot of him, but he did show up in the prerequisite V-neck. It was a long sleeve Henley this time, though.
Oh, the Henley, the gray Henley. I have a thing for the gray Henley.
In any fandom, apparently.
Yes, I like the gray Henley.
I mean, I really feel like they've been kind of hamming Peter up, and in this episode, he didn't feel very hammy. So that's always good for me.
Number 3 for me, Styles comforts Lydia twice. I'm not a shipper, but I really like their friendship, and I like how it just felt like he was trying to take care of her this episode. There's a lot of things about their interaction that I did not like, but I do really like the fact that he's there when her ears start bleeding. He's there when she hears the news about Meredith. I just like when those two are there for each other.
Yeah, I really feel like out of all the characters, they've had the most character development and growth, and it's like this friendship that, has been bubbling for the last 4 seasons. I like it, but it's a slow burn, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like one of the least rushed things on Teen Wolf ever, and I always think that that's a good thing. Just throw that out there.
That is true. That is very true.
My next thing is just, I know Brunsky is a douche, but I just like the way that he's a douche to Styles for some reason. He's just like, yeah, apparently your dad can't pay the bills. Just Brunsky. And I have an issue with Brunsky at the end of this episode, but that was not the scene that I had an issue with.
I don't like him at all. He's going to come up later, but he actually is going to be part of my number 1. So, yeah. So I'm going to flip into number 2, Styles. We just need the third key. You can give it to us in numbers, letters, hieroglyphs, whatever you want. That line made me laugh. I just did. I was like, oh, Styles.
I would just say that I loved the use of Chris Argent in this episode. It wasn't a lot, but he too was on the fringes of the episode until the Kate confrontation. And it's always, Argent just makes things better. And he brought a machine gun. Like, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's getting back to his roots.
Big gun.
Yeah, he's getting back to the roots of who we met, like when we first met him. And I totally love the arms deal cover. That was kind of brilliant, really.
Absolutely, and I wish they kind of go back to that. I'm not sure why his business fell apart, but apparently it's part of the money woes that everybody has.
Oh, because they he decided when they moved up to after his wife died, they gave up everything having to do with the hunter lifestyle, and that included the arms business, because that was the family's cover for so long, and they just wanted to do something else.
Yeah, see, I didn't think they gave up the arms business, because that is their livelihood also. That is how they were able to afford things like, their apartment.
Well, I'm sure they had bearer bonds too in a nice little vault somewhere in Paris.
Oh, good.
we'll get around to Argent family history. Season 7. Yeah.
Well, all I have to say is that if the company went bankrupt, I don't want to hear about it.
The building wasn't for sale, so I don't know.
Yeah, true. All right, number 1, the best thing about this episode for me was a scene, and that scene was Parrish blackmails douche orderly. I love that scene. I love how it starts off really rocky, and Parrish is the worst liar of the bunch. He could never play bad cop. But then after, douche orderly is snarking on Styles, Parrish just comes right in with the save. I adored it. I love the line that Styles said. Everything about that scene was classic. Oh, so those are some of my favorite things. Do you have anything else you want to put on there?
I'll talk about Scott at his ending scene before he's talking to Deaton and Chris Argent. Although I don't agree with the Wendigo thing, I like that Scott wants to save people. Like, that's just who Scott is, and he's willing to put on this burden now, and it's just a Scott thing, and I'm glad we're kind of getting back to it, even if he does want to save Wendigos who eat people.
Yeah, I have a problem with that scene. Mostly for that reason. It was crazy. So, those are some of the good things about the episode. Now we go into the things that didn't work or were confusing. The benefactor and the cassette tapes. Really? Honey? I don't care who you are. You have $117 million at your disposal. Turn those cassette tapes into MP3s.
Hello?
Nobody has cassette tape players anymore. I don't know a single person who still has a cassette player.
Maybe it's not 2014 in Beacon Hill.
Maybe it's not. That might solve some of the problems. But yeah, it was like, what? I mean, I have a theory about it, but still, you can convert. It is possible. My next problem, all the freaking money woe anvils. We get it. Every single person is broke. I understand that this is actually leading up to a moral dilemma now. Before, I had no clue why we were going here. Now we've got the moral dilemma of whether Scott and Stiles are going to steal Derek's money in order to pay the bills. I get moral dilemmas. I don't get why we keep everybody on the freaking show has money problems.
I mean, I don't even think they could, like, Derek would totally give them the money. Peter wouldn't, but they would ask Derek and he would give them the money. So I don't think it's about a moral dilemma, because I don't think Jeff really, I don't know, with the money. I think he was just throwing it in to throw it in to make it seem like they don't lead charmed lives on the human side of their lives. You know what I mean?
Well, I would like it better if it was a moral dilemma, first off, because then it would have a point. Right now, it has 0 point. And I really don't need to hear any more about it. Mama McCall, you break my heart. No woman works harder than you. How is it possible that you can't afford your electricity?
3 months behind and it's still on? Not in California. No, ma'am. You got 6 weeks.
Very true.
So she's lucky on that front.
And the fact that she doesn't know that it's 3 months. I mean, even if you don't want to admit that you're behind and have problems, usually you know about how much you're behind. So now I'm thinking that maybe Mama McCall needs a money manager as well. Seriously, douchebag? Child support. At this point, you ought to just be doing alimony, too. I don't know where you've been for the last however many freaking years you've been gone, but you need to pay back child support.
He's just letting her struggle. I'll fix your roof, but that's all I'm gonna do. Like, what?
Well, if I were a cynical person, I would say that he wants her to struggle so that she needs him, so that he can get in good with her faster.
But it's funny, like, she was doing perfectly fine until he showed up. They were all doing perfectly fine almost on the money front. I think it's something up with Douche Dad. It has to be. It can't just be him hanging around trying to be getting back in Scott's life. It just seems like everything went downhill when he showed up is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Well, my current theory actually has to do with number 9 on my list of issues, which is Liam's Dayglow Nike shoes. Could we pan in any more on those highlighters? I don't know.
Oh my God, no! I have this. I said, way to pay the bills. We pan in on the Nike symbol like 8 different times on his shoes, on Mason's shoes when he shows the blood, on the bag, on the other bag. I was just like, goodness, we know Nike is a sponsor. This is getting ridiculous.
Yep, and those shoes are just ugly. I'm sorry, but they are. Well, my theory is that Beacon Hills used to house the Nike factory. And the Nike factory, so that's why everybody in town wears Nike stuff. And the Nike factory became outsourced, probably to China. And so all the people in Beacon Hills lost their job. And therefore, all of the people who have social service kind of jobs had to take a pay cut. And no one can pay their bills now. Thank you, Nike.
Dawn figured it out. You heard it here first on the Welcome to Beacon Hills podcast. Spread this around the internet like wildfire. I want to see this worked into fanfics.
That is my theory. And, before they left, they gave everybody their severance pay in Nike clothing.
Yep. I can get behind that.
So I'll go with my number 8. Garrett's plans are as bad as all the rest of them.
And he's a teenage orphan assassin. Well,
yes.
He looks like a teenage orphan assassin.
Very true.
Because they kind of emphasize they look like. And I'm like, well, everybody on quote-unquote on Teen Wolf looks like a teenager.
Very
Not
true.
really, though.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is your plan? How is this a good plan? This plan sucks. Better plan. Everybody in Scott's life knows he's a werewolf. Let him go to them and say, hey, I need to make a trade.
Happy as I was that Garrett was dead, we still had a 2-to-1 ratio of women dying on the show. And then the two women were women of color, and it was just like, oh, the death ratio just never is going to get better on this show, is it?
I'm hoping Violet's dead.
Yeah, I'm just saying the death ratio is just never going to get better on this show.
I do agree with that. I think we should have killed off Teen Prep Blonde at the same time and made it even. 2 blondes, 2 women. Perfect. Yeah. I'm not sure that Violet's dead. She looked dead, but so did Kate.
Well, Kate's also not an alpha, so we don't have to worry about her coming back as any kind of weird were creature. Or did she turn into a berserker? Oh, no.
Oh, she's crazy enough.
Yeah. Thanks, Dawn.
I could definitely see Kate thinking, here's a chick as crazy as I am. Gotta keep her around. Speaking of Violet, she is number 7 on my list. Actually, it's Douchedad number 7 on my list, but Violet says, I don't know what you're talking about. I just go to school here. Like that automatically makes you not guilty? Come on. Yeah, first off, half the murderers are in that school. They might as well just train it as a CIA assassin school because, quite frankly, they're all going crazy anyway. But then comes Douchedad. I was having a real problem with Douchedad here because I was feeling a little bit of sympathy for him, and there's no way I want to feel sympathy for this man. And then he goes and says, maybe we should call your parents then. Oh no, that's right. You don't have any parents. That's why they call you the Orphans. And I was like, ooh, douchey again. Good, I can still hate you.
My issue with this episode is helpful Deaton.
All
of a sudden, out of all the seasons, he hasn't been very helpful. I mean, he revived the Nemeton, for goodness sakes, but he managed to save Brett and Liam.
Yep, the blondes.
And, right when everybody's kind of getting on board with my Deaton is evil theory, he's trying to, dispel, all this, well, let's think. What has Deaton actually done for us? Could he possibly be the benefactor? Hey, he saved Liam.
Mm-hmm.
So that spikes up the suspicion.
I think that the reason why Deaton is not going to be the benefactor, this probably should go in theories, is that they did that benefactor and then panned in on his face. That was way, way too much a red herring for me.
Yeah, everybody kept saying that. I don't even know how you guys drew it, but I've been saying Deaton is evil even if it's only evil adjacent for quite a while now. So for me, every episode that he's in, I'm scrutinizing it with a fine-tooth comb. So for me, that's why it works for me. And I do kind of agree that it would be too obvious after that. But then again, they could come up the next episode with something and then everybody washes away and forgets about it.
Very true. Number 6 for me. Kate's were-jag roar has power over the berserkers, but Scott can't even roar for Liam? I have a problem. And he hasn't even tried roaring to figure out where Liam is?
I know.
I don't know. I'm thinking that should have been a step 1 kind of thing.
No, he couldn't smell him. He couldn't tell Mason to take him down the trail to where he last saw him. Yes, I have issues with this.
Yes, he can track the berserker, even though the berserker claw is covered in his own blood, but he can't track Liam. I don't get it. It's another one of those werewolf powers gone wonky, and it only happens when we want it to happen in the script.
And it usually involves Scott looking like an idiot in this season. So I'm not cool with that.
Yep.
Not a lot of Scott and Styles time. I think we only got the end scene, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You're right. But in that case, we also did get them with a lot of different unique pairings, so...
Give me Scott and Styles over unique pairings any day. It's the heart of the show for me, especially after last season. We didn't get to see the fallout of them kind of coming back together and coping with it. So I feel like they should be kind of piling that on this season for me personally.
Right. I can see that. Number 5 for me. Kieran. Yeah, that's right. You're not so big. You're not so big. Oh, buddy. Get over it.
He deserved it. He deserved it on so many levels. I cheered. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Kate and her berserkers, does she have control? If she has control of them, how does she have control over them? If she's not an alpha, and what do werejaggers and berserkers have in common? How is that lore connecting to each other?
Number 4, Meredith dies. Out of all the people you have brought onto this show in this season, you kill off the only really good addition from last season, besides Parrish. And this is another one. First off, I don't believe it was suicide.
I think
period.
Orderly did it for the money.
I do too. I agree. I think he's part of the assassin group. But I will say that, it makes zero sense to kill off Meredith.
Yeah, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Even if it serves a greater good to a greater purpose for the greater good, I'm still gonna not be over this.
For me to be advocating that a character live on Teen Wolf instead of die, especially a secondary peripheral character, that's pretty different for me. Meredith had lots of potential, and
she was an orphan too. Oh, just all bad.
Do you notice that all the orphans died in this one?
I guess that's why they named it that.
I think so.
I don't like the Peter and Kate thing, honestly. Kate's crazy and Peter's hammy, and I don't know if I can really tolerate. I like that they're kind of hooking up, but if they could just kind of do it off in the distance without too much screen time,
oh yeah,
that would be better.
Oh yeah, that would go over the top way too fast.
Yes, that is what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they have a tendency to overact, both of them. And so while I'm really looking forward to seeing them snark each other out, and I really, really, really want Peter to kill Kate, there is the chance that this will go terribly, terribly wrong. I'm going to combine number 3 and 1 together, so I'm going to do number 2. And I'm going to say Lydia and Styles harass Meredith. Way, way too much. I buy the urgency and the feeling like they need to know now and that lives are on their hands. I buy that 100%. I don't buy that they don't back off.
Can we talk about the list yet?
Absolutely.
Really? Satomi's worth $10 million? Satomi's still alive, first of all.
I gotta say, Satomi's still alive and she can teach her werewolf people some pretty neat anti-hunting techniques. I think she should be worth as much as Scott.
I'm just saying, was she still alive? She was already old when she got bitten. And I know it's slow, supposedly werewolfing, so being a werewolf slows down your aging process and all that stuff, but still, that's a bit of a stretch for me.
I think that Satomi I have less problems with than I do with Liam being worth $3 million.
Well, he is a part of the Scott McCall pack.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. He wasn't part of the Scott McCall pack until after the Deadpool list already went out.
Very true.
So, either the benefactor is, prophetic and can read the future, or the third part of the list didn't come out until after he was bitten, and at which point they would have had to change the numbers around so that it would still equal 117 million. So I don't get that either. And what the heck is Malia on there as Malia Hale?
Mm-hmm. Her last name should be Tate. So I think that is definitely a clue, though.
Oh, it has to be. Because the only people who know that Malia is a Hale is Scott's pack. Even Malia doesn't know. Of course, when Malia sees the Deadpool list, and she should have some questions. Just saying. So there are some interesting things on here. I mean, Kate Argent's on the list, so they obviously had to know about her. And even Argent didn't know about her until the bullet. Whoever's making the Deadpool list has a lot more information than they ever should. So I have some issues with it. I still also have issues that all of Scott's pack is worth at least $1 million. All right. Well, I will take your list and raise you a wolfsbane.
Okay, good. Yes.
First off, I don't ever need to see yellow wolfbane vomit. I certainly do not need to see a close-up of it. It was bad enough when Cora was hacking up the black goo. Dayglow yellow, matching the freaking tennis shoes, wolfsbane vomit. No, don't need it. But most importantly, wolfsbane has now become a canon explosion. Either it kills or it doesn't. Either it works quickly or it doesn't. Either it's powerful or it isn't. Choose one and go with it. You cannot do this wonky canon junk over and over and over again.
The next episode, it worked really fast in Brett. And then, okay, Garrett stabbed Liam really close to the heart. No way he had all that time.
No kidding. And Violet had already told us that it was the most powerful kind. It's rare and very powerful and can take down an alpha. If it is more powerful than the black goo gunk, then both of them should be dead. Because it didn't take very long for Cora to be knocked completely out from that. I mean, it took a sacrifice of an alpha in order to save her. So what's up with this really powerful, special, expensive wolfsbane that doesn't kill? And she said in the episode, last week, she said, it won't kill you. And this week, it's killing everybody, or going to kill everybody.
Oh my gosh, I got a theory. You know how we learned about the eye colors for werewolves, right? Hmm? What if blonde-haired werewolves have a special power for wolfsbane? It could be the only reason why everybody knew it was blonde.
You gotta get your wolfsbane straight. If you're gonna have the character say that it doesn't kill and have me all riled up because previously wolfsbane did kill, and then last episode it apparently didn't kill, and this episode it kills again. I hate when shows kill their own canon. It's not even like you have a whole lot of canon to begin with. There really is not much concrete canon in this show. So you can't just play with the only canon you have. Stick with it.
Yeah, but at least it was yellow wolfsbane, and maybe the regular purple wolfsbane, it stays with the regular canon.
Okay. So what you're saying is that Violet got,
She got played, son. That's what happened. She thought it was all expensive and somebody totally tricked her.
Okay.
That's actually kind of plausible considering, Violet.
You look crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I only have major issues with her telling me that it wouldn't kill them after saying it was so powerful last time. This is super powerful, really expensive wolfsbane, but it won't kill you like the cheap stuff.
So, little character discussion.
Mm-hmm. God, I know you like Scott in this one.
Well, out of all the characters besides Styles and Lydia in Parrish, yeah, I mean, he had the most screen time. He actually was running around with a purpose. We got to see him with Argent. We got to see him with Deaton. He saved Liam. He got into a little fight. I like to see Scott being proactive, but this was kind of reactionary. So, he didn't have his pack with him. I think Scott's the strongest when he has his whole pack with him. I think that's what this episode suffered from.
I agree.
But I think Scott came out pretty decently this episode.
I think Scott was conflicted in this episode. And I'm okay with that. But I don't like his speech about how he's going to save them all. You really need to get some background information because No Mouth was the hero of that situation. Really, very much was the hero. He killed the Wendigo Freako people. So, I'm not cool with this. We're going to save everyone on the list, even if they're evil kind of vibe that's going on. Let the assassins do their job. I liked the fight scene. I thought that, we've got action again in Teen Wolf. I've been missing the action. So that whole thing was good, and I like Scott's part in that. A little confused about part of that episode, but that's okay. I was not as happy with Scott saving Liam from the well. I was fine with Timmy drowning in the well there.
I was hoping for it, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. I know nothing's going to happen to Liam right now. If it does, it's going to be much later in the season.
Well, he's a recurring character next year, so.
Is he really?
Yeah. I have a problem with them not talking about the money to anyone but the two of them. Yeah. I don't know. I was a little bit iffy on Scott this week.
Scott needs to get dirty, though. Just a little bit. He is a little too goody two-shoes, and I say this as a Scott fan, and I think that he needs to be a little more gray, because just being a werewolf in general, to me, comes across as a little gray. There's iffy situations, and sometimes you do need to do sketchy things for the greater good. Like, if they would have killed Deucalion instead of letting him go, I'm just saying.
Yeah, smart. I'm surprised Derek didn't do that.
Or Peter.
So, yeah, I agree that he is a little too much on the hero side of things. I just don't see where they're going to go with it. Because, if suddenly their kids show up with money to pay all the bills, shouldn't that raise some big flags?
Or they could send it in anonymously. Who knows? Who knows how they plan on doing that?
That should still raise some big flags. It's iffy for me. So, Styles.
Blinked and you missed him, really. But when he did show up, he was funny, he was snarky, he was caring about Lydia. All the stuff that we kind of missed from last episode, from the lack of Styles and Lydia, they really made up for it in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how I feel about... I feel like Styles is still kind of off. And I mean, I guess he should be. after such a traumatic event, but it's always nice to know that he and Lydia have that connection, that he's there for her when she needs him most.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I really like that that friendship that they've been developing. And if Stydia is in game, it kind of makes sense that it's the slow burn and that they're really building both these characters up from where we first met them.
They have definitely built the characters up, and I do like that. I'm going to be the one. Styles is my favorite character who doesn't like this Styles in this episode.
No, I can totally see that.
I think that Styles had some great scenes in there. I like that. I like his parish line. I like the fact that they explained that they did try to put dead people's names in the list. That was good. I was like, thank you for being smart. I love the fact that Styles and Lydia are working together, and that between the two of them, they were able to find a solution. I do think that both of them work better together when it comes to coming up with answers. They just synergize well. But I felt that a lot of this episode, as far as the small part that Styles was in it specifically to appease the fans who don't like Styles with Malia. And part of it feels an awful lot like fan service to me. Derek.
I blinked and you missed him.
Poor baby. That man.
He was having such a nice day last episode.
Now he's lost werewolf senses. He's on a list that says that he's probably gonna die, which again I have issues with that list. But I did really, really like the cousins working together. I hope that happens some more. I want Derek to be a mentor, because it seems like that is really his calling. When he's mentoring Scott, he's a better character. When he's mentoring Malia, he's a better character. He's smarter. He's more alpha-like.
Without the alpha curse.
So, whatever is happening with Derek in this sudden transformation, and I don't mean his eyes, it's really working for him. So, I like that we're going in this direction for Derek. I don't think he's going to die. I can't imagine them being able to kill him off unless he wants to leave too. So,
and I don't think that he does. I know for a fact, because I got to meet him at Comic-Con. It was awesome. He really loves this show. He kind of reminds me of Stephen Amell. Like, he knows a lot. Like, you can ask him a question about the show, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was episode such and such, and I had such a good time. And then Dylan did this to me on the side." And so he really does love this show and loves being a part of it. So I definitely don't see them, like, if they do kill Derek, it's not going to be like for real. It's going to be like another little, he got de-aged or something like that. I can almost say that with a lot of certainty. I did like Derek with Malia so much, and I really, Derek needs family, because Peter's just crap.
Yes.
Cora was just, was too soon, too much, just made no sense.
Lame.
But I like this. Him with Malia. It just felt natural. They both kind of felt at ease with each other.
Yes. And, I like the idea of Derek having a little sister type character who isn't completely annoying.
Yes.
So, yay, Derek and Malia. Anything else you want to say about Malia while we're at it?
I liked her this episode. We didn't, again, another person we didn't really see a lot of, but when we did, she got the comedy in. Mm-hmm. She got to learn about, mastering her powers. She got to spend time with her family, even though she didn't really know that. Mm-hmm. I love when she looked at the teacher. It was on my list, but it was lower.
Me too.
She's like, obviously.
She's in my tweets also. Somebody tweeted that of all the human things that Malia learned quickly, she mastered the stank eye. I was like, yeah, she did.
She hasn't mastered the raising your hand.
No. Or even the asking part. Malia makes me laugh. I think she is by far the best addition to the cast in a long time. I think she's better than Parrish, to be totally honest.
I think it's a tie.
I mean, Lydia.
It's good to see her actually getting her accomplished, setting out to make a goal and accomplishing it. It's sad that it got accomplished in such a way with such a tragic side effect. Mm-hmm. But I really am going to need Lydia to find somebody to mentor her for her banshee powers, because this is getting ridiculous.
Yes. Very much so. Lydia came off as a complete witch for most of the episode. And I don't really like Mean Girl Lydia. I thought we got rid of Mean Girl Lydia when she went crazy and was naked in the woods.
Yeah, I think that's part of the whole stress that Lydia's been under. Not that I'm excusing it. I totally agree with you. I don't know why they're going down this road with Lydia.
I understand that she feels responsible. And she's frustrated with the lack of her powers working. We're all frustrated with it, Lydia. But it just was so over the top here. And I don't want to have to go through the emo angsting of I pushed a girl to her death, which is where we're obviously leading.
And how come we didn't address the fact that her eardrums are busted?
Yes.
Just saying.
Or that it was only hers.
And Parrish did look, but we didn't talk about it. We just zoomed out of that scene.
All kinds of weird going on here.
It's like they don't want, they're not ready. Like they made a promise and then they realized they didn't really know what a banshee was in their universe. They weren't ready for it, but they're like, shoot, we already promised them. So let's just put Lydia in a lot of screen time with another banshee and maybe they won't notice. I notice.
I noticed that we have made zero forward progression on Lydia's powers. And it's a problem at this point. It was an annoyance before, but it is an official problem now. Because you cannot have her just stagnate here. It's like she's in a holding pattern. And we can't move on until she can move on.
You know what I think? I think Derek needs to grab Talia's claws again, ask his dear old mom what the heck a banshee does and how to control its powers. And then Derek can mentor Lydia too.
Or hey, maybe Deaton doesn't become a complete waste of space and evil this season, and he can actually fill her in some real actual knowledge. Because we know he has it.
Don't hold your breath on that one, dog.
I'm not, but
it would be nice. It's not that I want Deaton to be evil. I love Alan, the guy that plays Deaton. I do. I like the idea of Deaton, especially in the early seasons where he was Scott's boss and kind of a mentor. And ever since we found out that he used to be the Hell Pack emissary, it's been downhill from there. So he does need a little redemption. And what better way than with one of my favorite characters?
Very true. And, it would give him an actual reason for being there. So, any secondary characters you want to talk about?
We already kind of talked about Parrish. We kind of talked about Peter and Kate. So, not really.
Violet and
dead.
Garrett, so long.
Woohoo! Throw the confetti. It's a parade.
Oh, yeah. All right, villain of the week. Where to start?
Exactly.
Oh, let's see. We've got Garrett, dead, check. Woohoo. We got Violet, dead, check, hopefully. We got Kate and Peter doing their little alliance move. We've got the benefactor, if it's not indeed Kate and Peter, which it can't be Kate, but
I'm starting to think it's not Peter.
Me too, because they're pushing way too hard in the promos for it to be Peter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going lower on my list, because if he does become the benefactor, then there isn't a twist. And what is Teen Wolf without its twist? Season progression. We got the rest of the list. That is a big one.
Peter and Kate teaming up.
Big one. We've got Derek May Die. Big cliffhanger one that's not really a cliffhanger.
We get the return of Brayden, even though she's injured.
Very good. We got the teen assassins killed off.
Always nice.
Good to be ending that part of the storyline so we can concentrate on the rest.
We've got even Scott and Liam getting closer, which I really think that needs to happen, because that's going to keep Liam from being annoying if he wants to open up to Scott. And that's the most they can do for Liam, is not make him annoying or as annoying. That's what I'm mostly worried about.
Yeah. He's got a ways to go. I mean, there was a lot of progression in this episode, and I think that is one of its big strengths, is that it really, really moved the story along. We've got confirmation that the benefactor is a he, so that narrows it down, although I don't necessarily think that could definitely be a red herring. And, it's just a lot of things happened.
Well, it should, though. It's the 6th episode out of 12 episodes. We're at the halfway point. We definitely should be having lots of progression.
I agree 100%. Part of my thing with theories are not necessarily theories, but very much questions. For instance, how does Douche Dad know that they're called the Orphans? The only people who know they were called the Orphans are the other assassins.
No, he said that they were linked to cases, though. So, I mean, he is in the FBI. There are, like, informants and you hear things in circles and stuff. So that didn't really strike me as odd.
No, I want him to be in cahoots with Kate.
We thought he was in cahoots last time, remember?
That's true. I really want him to be evil because he's just so douchey. Why does Scott yell at Argent to put the gun down?
Thank you. Okay, I thought it was just me. I thought I missed something. I thought maybe my TV went wonky again.
Yeah, I actually went back and re-watched that particular part of the scene. Why? What was going on?
I thought maybe Scott thought that one of the berserkers were Violet, which set me on the path that maybe Kate will turn Violet into a berserker. I don't know. That's the only thing that I could really think of.
Yeah. I mean, because if he thought it was a great idea to bring in the gun when he was outside, nothing really changed on the inside. Was he afraid that he was going to shoot Kate and then he wasn't going to get any information on Violet and therefore couldn't get any information on Liam?
I'm glad I wasn't the only one, honestly.
Yeah, it was weird. What does this actually mean for Derek? And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say my theory is that it is not Derek's death, but the death of Derek as a werewolf. Let's go back to that wolfsbane.
Oh, do we have to? It's so bad, dog.
We now have wolfsbane gas, which I guess we had in the season premiere also. Shouldn't that airborne toxic wolfsbane gas also be poisonous to the werewolves that are in the actual room with him? Shouldn't they be trying to get away from that gas? So,
Well,
clean
it
it
did
over?
dissipate quickly, and they were on the side, in the back part of the room when the gas escaped. Well, not Scott, but in particular when Brett was. And Scott's an alpha, so we can just hold our breath and roll our eyes and go, maybe his alpha powers protect him.
Yeah, those alpha powers that come and go as they please.
Remember when it was just Mountain Ash and Purple Wolf's Bane?
Mm-hmm.
And silver bullets. The silver really didn't mean anything.
Theory about the cassette tape. My theory is that the cassette tapes are actually as old as cassette tapes are. That this was a way that the hunting community kind of taught the rest of the community. It was a way for them to share information back and forth. And so this was kind of like a training tape of, hey, this is how the hails work. This is what we look for. If anybody does this, if they go crazy during the full moon, then this is how we're going to deal with it. So my theory is that it is somebody who has been in the hunting world for a long time and has access to these tapes.
It's Deaton. I'm telling you.
Or Gerard. Or Burrell. Not Kate. She worth $12 million. You don't put yourself on a list that price. So, yeah, I'm thinking that the cassette tapes actually are from the past, and that's why they are still cassette tapes.
But yeah, I like that theory a lot. It makes a lot of sense. It sounded like kind of like this narration, like a nature narration,
Exactly.
like something on Discovery Channel.
Like a how-to about werewolves. Werewolf 101, this is what happens. So it almost sounds like a training tape to me.
Here we have the Hales in their natural habitat.
Yes.
Hales. They think they're the protectors of Beacon Hills.
Now, I'm not sure that I go with the theory that the voice on the tape is the benefactor.
Definitely not. Didn't seem like it. He's too careful.
The benefactor's not that stupid, except for his obvious accounting issues. It just feels like that was part of a set on different werewolves. Mm-hmm. And so maybe the one that the orphan teen assassins got is the one on Satoma. So those are my theories.
It's Teen Wolf. It's episode 6. I have no idea what's going on still.
That is a very true statement. Yeah, Argent's going farther down on my list as being the benefactor. Morel is going up on my list.
I really want Haley Webb to come back. So my theory is that maybe Peter just sucked all her power out and she made her completely human. And now she's just kind of on a quest.
That works for me too. She's an emissary. She has knowledge.
And what made me think of that is because I actually did watch all of Wolf Watch because Haley Webb and Melissa Ponzio were on.
I didn't actually watch it, but I muted it and just saw the two of them being awesome together.
Yeah, they had a really good time, and I was like, I miss Haley.
Me too.
So that kind of, I put it in my crackpot or maybe not theory pile.
Well, I gotta say that if Peter can come back from the dead, if Kate can come back from the dead, then why not Go for it. Bring Blake back.
Also, I have a question. I mean, we have such a focus on Eckenhouse still. I mean, a lot. More so than last season, even, really. I mean, is this going to be like a twist to end all twists when the season ends? And Styles is still a nigga Toonie or something?
No. No. But it would not surprise me if Mama Stilinski is still alive, because that is a genre show plot device, spectacular.
Very true.
Such a cliche, but it wouldn't surprise me if we find out that she is indeed alive. But if she is indeed alive and Sheriff knows she's alive, I'm going to have a massive fit.
He'd be dead to me.
Yep, me too.
And we don't want that.
No, because I love Team Parent and I want them to stay. So, any other theories? Our episode awards.
Episode awards.
All right, what'd you give it?
I gave this a flat B.
Me too.
Dog, stop it! This is getting bad.
Seriously, we need to stop.
We're sorry, guys, but I mean, it was a good, solid episode, but it did have a lot of issues. It lacked my Scott and Styles time. It made Scott look like an idiot for a lot of it. But then there was the good things, like, Derek and Malia and, all this other stuff. So it's a B. It's not a C. It's definitely not an A. It's a B.
I gave it a B mostly because I didn't like it as much as I did last week. And I gave that a B+. So that was my one key factor in giving it a B. I think that the cannon explosion is starting to bug me even more than it normally does. Because they are flip-flopping from episode to episode, which just drives me bonkers. And if you forgot what you said 3 years ago, that's a little different. But, if you forgot what you said last week, not going to happen. So that bugs me. I also think that some of the main characters went overboard. They're looking increasingly douchey or stupid. But lots of plot progression. Things are starting to roll really fast. I like the unusual pairings. It's one of my favorite things. And so I'm really good with a lot of what happened. They just need to write it tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to know their own canon. Who's your MVP of the episode?
Parrish saved it for me. I just like him around. I like that he has a purpose. I like that they kind of gave us the meta via Styles about him. I like that he's empathetic, sympathetic. I want to see how the death of Meredith affects him, because when he said it on the phone, it's like we kind of zoomed out of that scene a little too quick. I really want to see how that affects Parrish, because, he was like the last person. He did drag these teenagers in to see her that kind of sent her over the edge,
I want to clarify also that I want it to be that she did not commit suicide, and I want them to actually tell us that and not have us just believe it or suspect it.
Yeah, I want Brunsky to be the culprit.
Yes, very much so. Parrish is also my MVP. It should be Scott, because Scott saves Liam from the well.
Yeah, but I'm not impressed with that.
Yeah, but for me it is Parrish because he was funny. He had my favorite scene, and he really, for someone who has so little time on screen, every single time he is on screen, he stands out. So, but I just think he's a good character that is grown into an even better character. And if they keep going, he might be one of the best characters on Teen Wolf. Best character interaction. We're going to have the same again, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a toughie. Derek and Malia, and then also Styles, Lydia.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I'll just throw Scott a bone here. Scott and Arj are bringing up the rear.
All of the pairings on this one were great. For me, it's going to be Derek and Malia first and foremost, because everything about them I liked. Whereas with Styles, Parrish, Lydia, we also have that Meredith stuff that I didn't like. With Argent and Scott, we have the what was going on there part. So I'm going to throw it to Derek and Malia, and I really, really want the cousins to have more time together.
Yeah, definitely. Because it just felt like they had a connection, so I think that that's really cool, and I wonder if he felt it, and, he starts to question things, or if Malia, kind of goes to him, is this why you, pulled me out of class? I just wanted to address.
I want people to see that list, because once they see the list, something has to happen. I mean, they have to. And it would shock me if Malia didn't demand to see the list.
Yeah, because she still wants to know if she's on the list.
Right. And they're going to tell her she's on the list, and they're going to tell her the amount, but I would be surprised if she didn't want to see it herself. So, I mean...
And that was something that they kind of set up from the beginning with Scott saying, you know, I'm kind of tired of lying to everybody. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would like to see that blow up in his face.
I would like to see that blow up, period. I want to see her reaction to that. Because if we're not going to address it, then it made zero sense to bring it up last season. There. What's your best reason to watch?
All the stuff, all the twists that happen, and that the teenage orphan assassins are dead, and, you know, Kate was actually tolerable for the most part. Lots of good stuff happened in this episode.
That's my biggest shock award. I did not find Kate irritating every time she was on screen. And I didn't find Liam irritating every time on screen. Most times, but not every time. So
they're really working on fixing that fast, and I'm glad.
Yeah. And my best reason to watch is the fact that we have progressed the plot so much. And I feel like we are now in the heart of the story, and we're halfway through, and it feels like this season has taken longer to get to the heart of the story. So we have to go fast from here on out. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I think the storyline is interesting. The Deadpool interests me a lot more than Alpha Pax did. So I think that there's a very big investment for everyone on the show in this one now. All right, that brings us to fan, critic, and listener reaction. Gotta say that my absolute favorite tweeter this week was Ian Bowen, who plays Peter. He was hilarious all night long. He's got 3 of my top 5 official tweets. My first one, or number 5, is, "That's what Jill Wagner looks like when she has to wait too long at the coffee bean." When she's assassinating out at the very beginning. It's like, woo! 4 was J.R. Bourne, who plays Argent, and it came right after the fight scene with the Berserkers, and he said, "I think I kind of had him against the ropes there." Yeah, keep dreaming, buddy. Keep dreaming. Number 2 was Ian Bowen again. "Things that cannot long be hidden. Tyler Hoechlin's chest hair."
He knows!
It's Teen Wolf. If Derek's not shirtless for long, the natives get restless. Actually, that was number 2. I missed number 3, which was Lyndon Ashby, who plays Sheriff. "When talking to Berserkers, be careful what you ask for." That came right as Garrett was being a moron. And then number 1, my favorite one, is from Ian Bowen again, which says, "Guys, seriously, Peter's just looking for an iPhone 5 charger. Hashtag, it's hard to see down there in the sewer."
Oh, that goes along with one of my Tumblr things, actually.
I thought that was fabulous. I just love the way that the cast just plays with the characters and the fans through Twitter all night long. They all do a great job with it. When it came to fan tweets, again, I had a lot. Number 12 was at Ella Bronx. "How does Kate have groupies?" I have no idea, honey. Not a clue. Number 11, at Industry Geek Gal. "Poor Scott gets skewered almost every week. He's our own little wolf kebab." I do feel for him. It's kind of like Dean gets thrown into the wall, Sam gets choked, Scott gets stabbed, Derek gets tortured. And apparently Liam gets thrown in water. So Liam gets wet. There we go. Number 10 was Melissa Miller. She said, "This is either the best or worst Nike commercial. I can't decide." Number 9, at WolfGirl54. "Oh, hell, please don't tell me the Devils are making a deal with each other." Yes, they are, and it should get interesting fast. Number 8 is the one that I agree with the absolute most out of all tweets this time. It's at MapGar1986. "Stop wasting valuable parent screen time on Scott's dad. There are other parents I actually care about."
I will co-sign so wholeheartedly with that.
So agree. And speaking of douche dad, came at Lezer_Lee. "I refuse to believe Agent McCall is a capable person." I totally agree. Number 6, at Molly Harper, AUTH. "Peter's autobiography will be titled Satan in a V-Neck, and the After Death sequel even deeper V. At Akila Cooper, a cassette tape. The Chiron said 4 weeks earlier, not 20 years. Totally agree. Then Andy with an E and little glyph on it said, if they kill Jordan Parrish, I'll be like, and then there's the picture of Dark Styles with the 2 Oni coming into the hospital, and it says, "Hi, I'm here for Jeff Davis." Substitute that for Derek, and I'm right there with you. Number 3 at Tricky to Ricky. We should probably count it. You know what else you should do? Tell Derek you found his money. Maybe? Just saying. And then another one from Mapgart 1986. Clearly, Flowers in the Attic hasn't seen Indiana Jones. Function over showmanship, dude. Loved it. And then my favorite one of the night comes from Diana MV4. If the pack manages to save Liam and no one makes at least one Lassie joke, then what's the point? Hashtag, he is literally down a well. Oh, gotta say, keep the tweets coming because you guys crack me up.
I didn't get a chance to live tweet this week. I got back from Comic-Con and I was exhausted and dehydrated, and I took a nap and I woke up. It was literally like 10:45 and I was like, oh, I guess I'll live tweet with the West Coast. Went back to sleep, woke up the next morning.
Well, we did miss you.
All I saw was Deaton's evil and I started freaking out. Like, what? I was right?
Fortunately, we didn't go anywhere with that storyline, but yeah, there was a lot of really fun. People are just hilarious on Twitter when it comes to Teen Wolf. Whether they're hilarious because they're being sarcastic about things or whether they're just being very earnest and it makes me laugh. You know, calling yourself Mrs. Jordan Parrish, just, you're going to make me laugh.
I do want to give a shout out to Teen Wolf for representing over Comic-Con. They won a lot of cool stuff about being the show of the day. They rocked on Twitter trends the whole time. Yeah, such cool information coming out about Teen Wolf at Comic-Con. The panel was awesome. It's always great to see the cast together, even though, you know, the guy that plays Danny got left out again. I swear we're going to have to get a twitition going on to get somebody's attention. Because it happened last year. No, it happened last year, and they said that they were going to try. Because he showed up on his own. Like, he wasn't even invited. He just showed up on his own because he loves the fans and the show so much.
Yeah. I love when people do that.
So, yeah, I was a little bummed to discover that.
Probably Jeff thought he would be lynched from all the people in the audience going, why haven't we seen Danny yet?
Exactly. And then, like, Yanni's like, humana, Jeff. Very true. So, yeah, if you guys haven't seen any of the panels already, definitely YouTube them. They're really some good information, lots of great interviews. I believe it's one in the Hollywood Reporter, one on Deadline. I did this in lieu of reading Critic Reaction this week.
And that makes a whole lot of sense because, you know, Comic-Con, that's a great excuse.
Yes.
Plus you get better information that way.
And definitely check out Hypable. I think they're still coming out with a lot of great sound bites and videos this week. So
yeah, there was just a lot going on in TV this week.
I wouldn't know. I've been traveling. Tumblr. So it was an outbreak of Liam and Scott shipping after the end scene, which I totally saw coming. Mm-hmm. So glad Tumblr doesn't disappoint me.
And Parrish and Styles.
Yes.
That's been
going on for a while on Tumblr, though. Yeah. So, a lot of Derek, what's happening to Derek? They better not kill Derek.
Oh, yeah.
There was one, let me find it. Have to scroll way down.
Gotta say that Derek can't die was practically its own hashtag. Don't.
Oh, yes.
Derek can't die. What are you doing to Derek? If Derek goes, I go. Always.
Steric89 said, it says, it's a little post that says, "Dear Jeff Davis." And then it's that picture of Styles where he's like, "You're killing people to death." Because this episode did have 3 deaths.
Yes.
There's lots of screen caps and gifs of Derek and Malia, Styles and Lydia, obviously. And then also when Styles, Lydia, and Parrish go to visit Meredith, a lot of R.I.P. Meredith. I'm glad that she resonated with the fandom.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, and just my own little aside. Somebody sent me a screen cap from Lyndon Ashby in CSI episode 304.
Oh, very cool.
The original CSI.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And
he looks handsome as ever, so that's always a bonus.
I will say, just throwing this out here, which has nothing to do with anything either, but I did the first episode of Drop Dead Diva for my nominated for Last Week in TV, and in it were both Lyndon and his wife playing a divorcing couple. And I was like, it's meta! It's meta, I know! In a show I don't!
I love Drop Dead Diva, by the way, but yeah, I love Lyndon and I do. I love Lyndon and Susan because they actually do kind of go out and like kind of try to find cool things to do together as actors. So like spending a lot of time apart, and that just makes my heart warm up for them even more.
And they seem to be so into each other still. I mean, they've been married for a long time, and I love that they met on a soap opera before either of them, got other gigs, and they're just cute together.
They are.
So, and I'm very, very happy that she's in as Lydia's mom. I'm hoping that she doesn't turn out to be evil. Yeah. So big thumbs up for Lyndon Ashby and Susan Walters. They are very awesome, and I like how they're tweeting together and kind of engaging with the fans together. They're just the whole package.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm still petitioning for them to have a scene together.
That would be very nice. And I love how they always supported each other. So one of them's doing something, they'll always tweet about it or talk about it. It's just great.
Yeah. So I think that wraps it up unless we want to have some more shameless plugs.
Nope. Just that Last Week in TV will actually be on it, like typed out and posted on Monday. Which is something I haven't done for 2 weeks, and I also will start recapping Teen Wolf and putting it on again. I actually had the recap done for last time, I just didn't get it posted in time, so I'll probably post both of those by the end of this week.
You were a busy lady running the Character Cup, we all understand, Dawn.
And we know that you were at Comic-Con.
Yes, ma'am.
What else exciting happened there?
I was there mostly for work, so I did a lot of WB and DC stuff. I got to see all the pilots that I'd already seen for all the DC shows. Constantine, I got mixed reaction, unfortunately for me, because that's the show I'm most excited about outside of The Flash. But yeah, like I said, I ran into Tyler H, and then who else did I run into? That's the only person I ran into from Teen Wolf, but he's a really cool, gracious dude.
It's always nice to hear that the people that you really like on a show aren't big douches in real life.
Yes. I haven't had that happen to me except for once, and it was a rapper, and I expected as much, so I braced myself for it. Yeah, I'm not, my blog is still pretty dead. But I did get 2 episodes of Channel 52 up for you guys. So we're talking about The Flash and this week's Constantine, and then probably Saturday, Gotham should be up, and then I'm going to talk about the season 3 of Arrow in general, and then I got some. Oh, I also went on this podcast called The Flash Diaries over on. You can find it at flashdiaries.podbean.com. We were talking about Comic-Con and just the Flash in general. They're really cool dudes, so check them out.
Don't forget to check out Southgate Media Group at southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a lot of different podcasts, a lot of different things that we're doing, more stuff all the time, and you can also check us out on iTunes.
Yes, please rate, review, and subscribe to help us climb the charts. If you would like to send us an email, you can send it to teenwolf.smg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at Beacon Hills Pod, and you can find us on Tumblr. Welcome to Beacon Hills Podcast.tumblr.com. And yes, even on Facebook, you can find us under Welcome to Beacon Hills, which is a community page about Teen Wolf and the fans that listen to this podcast.
So we hope to hear from you, and also avoid the crazies, because dude, it's Beacon Hills.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.